Hello everybody, welcome to Story Time with Susie. I hope you've got your teddies with you and a nice snuggly blanket so you can get nice and relaxed and cosy. I've got mine. Now I'm going to read two stories for you. The first one is The Detective Dog and the second one is Christopher Nibbles. So we're going to start with this one, which is The Detective Dog by Julia Donaldson. Here we go. I hope you're sitting comfortably. There once was a dog with a keen sense of smell. She was known far and wide as Detective Dog Nell. Sniff, 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 time after time, Nell the detective solved crime after crime. Who threw the hazelnuts down from the trees? Who took the honey away from the bees? Who did a poo on the new gravel path? How did the spider get into the bath? Sniff, 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 with a wag of her tail, Nell the detective was hot on the trail. Nell shared her house with a person called Peter, a very nice child, though he could have been neater. And 6-year-old Peter was one of those boys who kept on mislaying his clothes and his toys. Sniff, 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 nose to the ground. These are the things the detective dog found. The bus in the bowl and the book in the bed, the sock in the sofa and the shoe in the shed, the tumble-down telly, the bounce-away ball. Nell the detective discovered them all. Now Nell did detection from Tuesday till Sunday, but did something totally different each Monday. She found Peter's bag and she tracked down her lead, then set off for school where she heard children read. The children loved reading their stories to Nell, and Nell loved to listen and also to smell. Sniff, 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 mixed in the air were plasticine, custard and newly washed hair, the crusts in the bins and the coats on the hooks. But the best smell of all was the smell of the books. Books about dinosaurs, books about knights, books about planets and meteorites, books about princes who turned into frogs, books about dragons and books about dogs. But then came a Monday when all was not well. Nell sniffed the air and she smelled the wrong smell. Into the classroom the two of them hurried and found Mr. Jones looking terribly worried. He tugged at his hair and he let out a sigh. Peter looked round and he started to cry. Sniff, sniff, sniff. What was going on? The books, cried out Peter. The books have all gone. Nell gave a growl when she heard the bad news, but then started sniffing and searching for clues. Sniff, sniff, sniff. On the bookshelf, a cap. The thief must have dropped it. The terrible chap. Nell sniffed the cat, then she tugged on the lead, and woof, she was away at astonishing speed. Everyone followed Detective Dog Nell. She stopped at the traffic lights. What could she smell? Sniff, sniff, sniff. Haddock and hay, pizza and penguins, and further away the smell of the thief and, how very exciting, thousands of pages all covered in writing. Then woof, they were off, with no time for a stop, past the farm and the zoo and the takeaway shop. They raced through a field where the rabbits smelled good, then over a golf course and into a wood. They thrashed through the undergrowth leafy and dense till they came to a gate in an old wooden fence. Then Nell started growling and pricked up an ear. She barked and the bark meant, the thief is in here. They flung the gate open and Peter cried, look, for there sat a man with his nose in a book. There were many more books poking out of the sack, and the children yelled, those are our books, give them back. Sniff, sniff, sniff. The book thief looked sad. I'm sorry, he sniffled. I know I've been bad. Stealing is wrong, but I just meant to borrow. I was planning to give all the books back tomorrow. To borrow? To borrow? Nell pricked up an ear. She barked, and the bark meant, I've had an idea." Then woof she was off, and away they all sped, including the book thief, who told them, "I'm Ted." Sniff, 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 they raced through the wood, over the field where the rabbits smelled good. They panted and puffed past the takeaway shop, the zoo and the farmyard with never a stop, except to retrieve Peter's scarf and his ball, which someone had thoughtfully placed on a wall. So they came to a building with the doors open wide. What did they see when they all went inside? Thousands of books, from floor to the ceiling. The books gave the thief the most heavenly feeling. He gazed in amazement. "Where am I?" he said. And Peter replied, "In the library, Ted. You can join if you want to. There isn't a fee, and you can take lots of books out for free." So Ted has his lovely new library card. He sits reading books in his little backyard. And when it's a Monday, Detective Dog Nell visits the school with a wonderful smell. Sniff, 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 with a faraway look. She smells and she listens to book after book. Books about dinosaurs, books about knights, books about planets and meteorites, books about princes who turn into frogs, books about dragons, and books about dogs. So that's the end of that one. I hope you enjoyed it. Now the next one I'm going to read is of a guinea pig book, and it's Christopher Nibble, and this is by Charlotte Middleton. So this is a little bit shorter, so let's start. If there was one thing Christopher Nibble loved more than football, it was eating dandelion leaves. He ate dandelion leaves at breakfast time, at lunch time and at dinner time. And if Christopher felt peckish between meals, he ate more dandelion leaves. But it was not just Christopher who liked dandelion leaves. Mr. and Mrs. Nibble liked them, his sister liked them, his friends liked them. In fact, every guinea pig in Dandyville loved dandelion leaves. All day long, sound of munching and nibbling filled the air, until, that is, dandelion leaves began to run out. Dandelion dishes were taken off the menus, and dandelion drinks disappeared from the shelves. The last few leaves could be bought on the internet for a huge amount of money. Soon, the worst thing imaginable happened. All over town, the dandelions had been munched to nothing more than bitten down stalks, and the guinea pigs had to make do with chewy cabbage instead. Just one dandelion was left, but nobody knew about it except Christopher Nibble. It happened to be growing right outside his bedroom window. Christopher's mouth watered at the sight of it, but he knew he mustn't eat it or let anyone else eat it, not if it was the last dandelion in town. It might even be the last dandelion in the whole world. He thought hard and decided to go to the library. He borrowed a book called Everything You Need to Know About Dandelions. He found a little cloche to protect his dandelion, and every day he watered it and picked off the bugs. And every day he was very good about not taking even the tiniest little nibble, while he waited and waited and waited, until finally his dandelion had grown the most beautiful white head of tiny seeds. Very gently, Christopher picked it and carried it all the way up Daisy Chain Hill. And when he reached the top, he had just enough puff to take a deep breath and blow the seeds, filling the air. And they landed gently all over Dandyville. At first, nobody noticed, but soon the new plants started to sprout fresh leaves, and in no time at all, Dandyville was filled with the happy sound of munching once more. As for Christopher, he still loves playing football, But now there's something he loves just as much as eating dandelions. Christopher loves growing them. And that's the end of that story. So I hope you enjoyed it. These books can be got from your local library when they're open. And there are stories about animals that you will find at Margaret Green. Thank you.